Congressman Charlie Dent's office. I lived down in D.C. by myself for the week, which was just about as much of an experience as the internship itself. My week was filled with readdressing letters, writing constituent responses, logging every letter addressed to the congressman into the congressional mail log called IQ. I rode the bus and metro to work every day, so I got the whole experience that comes with working in D.C. Actually, it was my commute that made me the most nervous opposed to the actual internship because I'm absolutely horrible with directions, and the Metro Center, where you switch metro lines, looks identical from every direction. My first day started out with a direction mishap. Bryce, the staff assistant, gave me the address of the office. However, I left it at my house before I left for D.C. It wasn't a big deal to me because I just looked it up on Mr. Dent's website and began my trip. Once I got there, though, I noticed that the plaque was for a Florida representative, and it turns out the congressman had recently switched offices and his website hadn't been updated. By off chance, an ex-NASA employee was visiting the Capitol and offered to take me to the correct building via the underground tunnel system. This was my first experience in the tunnels of Capitol Hill, and I was fairly shocked by everything. Delis, barbershops, dry cleaning, post offices, and many other services were located in the tunnels for employees. Once I arrived at the correct office, I was given the intern binder as my briefing. Inside was an actual 4-page manual on how to answer the phone. I was pretty nervous. Luckily, though, Bryce did most of the phone answering for that week. At about 9:30 my first day, every single person got up and filed towards the congressman's office, and I was really confused. So I stood up from my desk and went to the front desk where the staff assistant said that I could man the desk for him so that he could go to a meeting for once. Apparently someone always has to be at the front desk to greet constituents, who are the people who come in to just visit the congressman, sign for mail, and offer assistance to any of the inquiring other politicians' offices. One of the staffers told me to try to know what I was talking about and to look like I belonged, and those are his exact words. So for 45 extremely long minutes, I was in charge of the office. Lunch break my first day was really interesting. I never actually made it to the cafeteria that whole week. My first 2 days, I used my lunch break to walk around looking for the deli, and after the second day, I just kind of gave up on lunch. The rest of the week was an amazing time. I set off Capitol security and had to be patted down on my second day. And they all had guns, so I must have looked pretty scared. And one of the guards told me that if it happened again the next day, he would let me go through if I did the Gangnam style dance for him. Unfortunately, it did happen again every single day, but I got through it. One thing that made me laugh, and I can't verify that it's true in all offices, but in Congressman Charlie Dent's office, everyone loved emails, almost to the point of being antisocial. I was given an email address for the week, and although my desk was centrally located and only about 10 feet from every other staffer, they instead used email to tell me simple things like, you can take your lunch break now. One of my favorite activities was answering constituent letters. Congressman Dent received a fairly large amount of letters from citizens, so I was introduced to the whole process. First, I had to log letters into IQ, and IQ is a program that holds everyone's address and personal information. Once someone sends a letter, I was able to scan it in and write a summary of the letter, and then place it under the sender's name. Next, I would be given a sample letter and answer the constituents' letters. Most congressional offices only offer internships to juniors or seniors in college, so the staff basically just assumed that I knew how to write a response letter. Unfortunately, my first draft showed that I had absolutely no idea of the format, and thankfully the staff were really willing to work with me so that by the end of the week I was pretty proficient at writing the letters. By far the highlight of my week was Friday when Bryce took me on a trip inside the Capitol. Not only did I get to see the parts of the Capitol that aren't open to the public, but I also got to talk to Bryce more about college and political science. Bryce wasn't much older than me, and I liked hearing about how he would come to get a job on Capitol Hill. While on the tour, I was able to go on the floor and actually sit in the congressman chairs, which was a bit intimidating. Overall, DC was better than any experience I had hoped for. It was a chance to be on my own, work through my own problems, such as getting on the wrong metro, and be responsible for myself, and to experience a short glimpse of Capitol Hill life. So thanks.